I want to quickly talk to you about the Capital One Savor credit card, and the question is this card really worth it this year? So, Capital One Savor. So, this is actually an in-depth review of the card, and I will let you know whether or not that this card is actually worth having in your wallet this year. Okay, so let me give you a few key takeaways here. When you think about the Capital One Savor credit card, you got to really think about the rewards. I want you to think about rewards. So rewards remain the keyword, the main keyword here. Okay, so this is actually a great rewards card to have in your wallet if you're all about food, travel, and entertainment. I want you to remember those. This trifecta: food, travel, and entertainment, and because those are the three criteria, or the three, I would say, expense categories that will help you reap the maximum rewards with the Capital One Savor. Okay, so one thing you need to really understand here is that this card is a great no annual fee card to consider if you want to earn food, if you want to earn rewards on those three categories that I just listed for you: food, travel, and entertainment, what I call the FTE. And the card also comes with a welcome bonus that I will actually elaborate on later on. So, a welcome bonus, you have an intro APR offer depending on the season, depending on the time of the year. Because sometimes they have the intro offer during the holidays. Sometimes they don't have it. So, it really depends. Okay. And there are no foreign transaction fees. And there are some travel perks. So depending on again the seasonality, that like the seasonality of your application, like what time of the year you apply to the card, you can actually have some travel perks or not. Okay, and other cards carry a higher rewards rate and may offer more value overall for heavy spenders, even if that means carrying an annual fee. So you got to really ask yourself: are you looking for a card with an annual fee or not? And most importantly, what kind of rewards are you looking for? Because depending on the rewards that you want, you might actually be luckier or not with this Capital One Savor rewards credit card. So let me talk to you about when the Capital One Savor is really worth it, and when the card is not worth it. So you can really choose what kind of scenario will fit your personal situation. So the first big scenario here when it comes to the Capital One Savor is that if you want a great everyday rewards rate but no annual fee. I want to insist on that, not just on the TFE that I'm talking about, okay? But if you spend, let's say you spend a lot on groceries, dining, travel, and entertainment, the Savor may seem like, a can't miss rewards card, especially if you look at your household structure, right? And your family spends a lot in those categories. It's just, this is a no brainer, okay? But one thing you need to understand here is that basically the rewards rate is not the highest out there in terms of the TFE categories, okay? But it is decent. It is more than decent, but it's not the best. Just keep in mind, okay? Travel, food, and entertainment, okay? It's more than decent, but it's not the best. Alternatives like the Blue Cash Preferred card from American Express and the American Express Gold card offer better rates on groceries and dining, respectively. Okay, so but those cards, some of them will have annual fees. So you always have to think about the what I call the return on investment, your ROI on like the risk trade off between what you have to pay in annual fees and also what you're getting in terms of rewards. Okay, so the Blue Cash Preferred, for instance, earns a 6% back on your first $6,000 in annual spending at U.S. supermarkets, then 1%. And the MS Gold earns 4x points on restaurant purchases worldwide on up to $50,000 in purchases per calendar year, then 1x points. So the MS Gold also earns a membership rewards. That's really an important element to really think about, okay? So now the catch is that those cards both carry annual fees, $95 per year with a Blue Cash Preferred, okay, and $325 per year with a MS Gold. That's what I just told you a little earlier, that you always have to think about the trade-off between how much you pay in annual fees and how much you're getting in rewards, okay? So one thing I want to say here is that basically, if you think about this annual with a Savor, You'll get 3% cashback on dining, general entertainment, popular streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and more, and grocery store purchases, excluding superstores like Walmart and Target, okay? And you also get 5% cashback on hotels and rental cars booked through the Capital One travel portal, 8% cashback on Capital One entertainment purchases, and 1% cashback actually on all other purchases, okay? There is also a no cap on your rewards rate, which is not always the case with other cards, so something to really think about. So the second scenario where this Capital One Savor actually could be worth it is if you want a no annual fee card with solid perks. This is really important. If you want solid perks but no annual fee, think about the Capital One Savor. Okay, along with its ongoing rewards, this card offers a welcome bonus of $200 after you spend $500 within 3 months of account opening, which is really feasible. I mean, think about it. $500 in 3 months, that's like less than $200 a month. Okay, so that's really totally possible. And so the $200 is a solid value and a lower spending requirements than you will face with many other rewards card bonuses. Indeed, several comparable cards carry bonuses that require twice or even three times as much spending to enjoy the same value. So you can see that basically Capital One has done some good efforts on this front. Okay, so but the bonus is just one of many Savor card benefits. Other perks include no foreign transaction fees, making this a handy card for world travelers. Okay, you also have travel benefits like travel accident insurance, access to the Capital One travel portal, and 24-hour travel assistance services. You also have shopping protections like extended warranty coverage and complimentary concierge services. You have security protections like the $0 fraud liability, virtual card numbers from Eno, credit wires, credit monitoring, and security alerts. So that's really cool. And last but not the least, you have access to exclusive experiences via Capital One Dining and Capital One Entertainment. So this is really cool. Another scenario that would be really, I would say, conducive to the Capital One Savor is if you want a rewards card with an intro APR offer. So this is another option for you to really consider this card. Okay, so because the Capital One Savor card also boasts a solid 0% intro APR offer on purchases and balance transfers for the first 15 months. Then you have after that you have a variable APR that goes from 19% all the way to 29%. Now, one thing I want to say here is that when you think about the offer, like on paper, this is actually really fantastic. Think about it. 15 months, 0% intro on purchases and balance transfers. Sometimes you have like the intro APR on either purchases or balance transfers. But in this case, we have the intro APR on both offers. So this is really good. This makes this card like really fantastic. Like if you have a large purchase coming up, or you want to transfer credit card debt onto this card, 15 months is actually a good a solid time period to actually consider paying down your debt or paying off your debt. So while the best balance transfer cards can offer even longer intro APR up to 21 months on purchases and balance transfers on a few top cards, this is a lengthy intro APR period for a rewards card, and it should be a big help if you need to consolidate and pay off debt over time while minimizing interest charges. But just make sure that you are paying attention to the 3% fee for balance transfers. Okay, so something to really think about. And one thing I need to also say is that this card should offer a better long-term value than most of those 21-month intro APR cards, thanks to its impressive everyday rewards rate. Okay, and few dedicated balance transfer cards offer even 1% cash back on purchases. Okay, and you cannot really rely on like necessarily on that aspect of things, but you just have to make sure that you pay off the balance real like within the 15 months period. Okay, so but if because if you don't do that, then the interest rate goes all the way to 19 to 29%, which can be really high depending on how much you transferred in the first place. Okay, and also Capital One charges 3% fee for balance transfers for the first 15 months, or actually at a promotional APR that Capital One may offer you at any time. Okay, so something to really think about. Okay, and some credit cards charge you 5% balance transfer fees. Capital One is only charging you 3%. Another scenario where you can really think about going with a Capital One Savor is actually if you have a Capital One travel card already. Can you imagine if you have a Capital One travel card already, you can actually pair those two cards and actually rack up even more benefits. Okay, so since it's known mostly as a cashback card, many people forget that the Savor can pair well with Capital One's popular travel card. If you think about it, because Capital One allows you to convert the cashback you've earned with a Savor into Capital One miles, which is really great. This combination, this conversion is really fantastic. Okay, but the thing is, you can actually convert this into a Capital One miles as long as you have a dedicated travel card from the issuer. Okay, so those includes the Capital One Venture One Rewards credit card, Capital One Venture Rewards credit card, and Capital One Venture X Rewards credit card. So it has to be one of those three. I mean, of course, there are others, but I just want to give you a few of those cards here. So by combining one of the venture cards' flat rewards rate with the Savor card's great rate in key everyday spending categories, you can earn free travel much faster. And the cool thing is that in some of those categories, or even on some of those cards, there is no rotating categories. Okay, there's no rotating categories. You can just get things done on a straightforward manner, on a straightforward path. Okay, plus you can transfer Capital One miles to partner airlines and hotels, sometimes for a higher redemption value. So that's really good. But remember that everything happens through the Capital One travel portal. If you want to really, if you want to reap higher benefits, you want to do the transfer through the Capital One travel portal. So this is something to really think about before you actually pair up this card with other cards anyway. So I just gave you some 3 or 4 scenarios where the Capital One Savor is actually worth it, right? Now let's talk about when this Capital One Savor card is not really worth it, because there could be a situation where you are better off actually walking away and choosing another card. So there are two main scenarios. I mean, there are others, but there are two main scenarios from a budgetary point of view, but also from I would say from a cash flow point of view that can really, really make you walk away from this card. If you want to carry a balance, or if 3% cashback is not enough, okay? So let's first talk about carrying a balance. If you want to carry a balance, this card is not great for you. I told you before, you're looking at 19% to 29% once the intro APR is over, okay? If you don't pay the full balance within the intro period, you're looking at 2 digits APRs. That's really crazy. So while the low end of this range is close to the average credit card APR, the high end is a very high number indeed. Okay, and if you have let's say a mid-lane credit score, you may end up with an APR on the higher end of the spectrum, potentially rivaling the rate you would find on star cards and cards designed for people with bad credit, right? So this is something to really pay attention to. I mean, of course, even if you have excellent credit, and let's say you happen to qualify for the low end APR, which is 19.99%, that's just 20%. The interest charges that you incur from carrying a balance will likely negate whatever cash back you earned in the first place. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that little calculus before you get yourself into applying for this card, okay? So if you intend to carry a credit card balance long term after the intro APR offer ends, you'll be better off with a dedicated low interest card, which could really save you more money even if it doesn't feature any rewards, although some low interest cards still do, right? So that's the first option to really think about. So besides actually your let's say your let's besides you not carrying a balance, if 3% cash back is not enough, don't go with this card because it may seem counterintuitive, but the Savor card might not be the best fit if you spend heavily in its bonus categories, especially dining and groceries. Let me explain. So while the Savor card offers a solid rewards rate in those categories, a few competitors they offer even higher rates. So much higher, in fact, that they may actually net more value overall despite carrying annual fees. Let me give you an example. Let's say you spend $6,000 per year at U.S. supermarkets with a MX Blue Cash Preferred. If you do that, you would earn $360 cash back. That's 6% on your first $6,000 in spending, then 1%. And if you subtract the ongoing annual fee from your total earnings, you actually will net a total of $265 in value. That same spend with the Saver card would only net $180 despite the card carrying no annual fee. So this is something to really think about. So depending on how you redeem points, the same could also hold true for the MS Gold, right? So a 6,000 annual dining spend with that card will earn you 24,000 membership rewards. So based on my calculation, those points could be worth around $480 in travel. So if you subtract the annual fee, 325, and you would net $155 in total value. So, that's really something to really keep in mind. Now, hear me out though. While that's lower than the 180 that you would earn with the Saver, it doesn't take into account any of the MS Gold's valuable perks like the up to $120 in annual Uber cash credits you can earn if you have the card set as your payment processor, as a payment method in your Uber accounts. Okay, and so this is something to really think about. So, big question is, should you get the Capital One Savor this year? Well, with everything you've heard, with the pros and cons that I gave you, you got to really ask yourself where you find yourself right now in your life, what kind of spending lifestyle you have, your family lifestyle, your family spending lifestyle. All those things should be. You want to take those things into account, right? So, one thing I want to say here is that if you are looking to earn rewards on dining, grocery, streaming services, and entertainment, again, the FTE, food, travel, and entertainment, but if you want to have that and you don't want to worry about offsetting an annual fee, okay, you will probably love the Capital One Saver because a lot of time people want to go for those rewards credit cards, but they're paying attention to the annual fee, right? Because they need to spend enough money to be able to offset the annual fee that they have. And this card actually is pretty good because the Saver has no annual fee. So there is no need for you to target a certain spending spending threshold to offset an annual fee. Now, just keep in mind that you could enjoy even more value with a card that carries an annual fee, depending on how you set up your spending. Okay, and if you value simplicity above all else, consider a flat rate card that allows you to earn 2% cash back on purchases. Especially from a flexibility point of view, that's what you want too. Okay. So bottom line is this Capital One Saver Cash Rewards card is one of the best no annual fee rewards cards for you if you spend a lot on food and entertainment, but also travel. So earning cash back on purchases is very easy. and you won't have to remember to activate quarterly bonus categories or even worry about spending limits, okay? So something to really think about, and to maximize its value, remember to carry the card in your wallet and use it for all bonus category purchases. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about the Capital One Savor Savor, and I gave you the scenarios where the card is really worth it, the scenarios where it's not worth it, and whether or not you should get it in the first place. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.